try to remember, like, the best day of your life right now, your brain won't play you a continuous chronological movie. It just won't.
No, definitely not. It's way more fragmented than that.
Right. It is going to show you this out-of-order collage. You might remember the way the light hit a dress or, a snippet of a really loud laugh.
Or even just like the nervous clearing of a throat right before a big moment.
Exactly. Yet for decades, the way we documented our biggest life milestones, especially weddings, tried to force those organic memories into perfectly chronological 3-minute music videos.
Oh, those highly stylized linear montages.
Yeah, we shot them basically just to say, hey, this event happened and, it looked beautiful. But that era is ending, and it is ending fast. So welcome to the deep dive. We are so glad you are here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Our mission for this deep dive is to explore a massive, fundamental evolution in how we capture our most important life events. We are looking specifically at the seismic shift away from simple highlight reels and toward full-blown, immersive cinematic storytelling.
Which is such a massive pivot for the industry.
Totally. And we are anchoring today's conversation in a fascinating document titled Immersive Cinematic Storytelling Films Over Basic Highlights, along with some deep supplementary video production notes from the industry.
And it is a profound shift to observe, really. We are watching an entire industry move away from the concept of documentation and move entirely toward preservation.
Which are two very different things.
Very different. There is a distinct psychological difference between those two ideas. Documentation is basically a receipt. It proves you were there.
Right.
Preservation is a time capsule. It makes you feel what it was actually like to be there in that specific moment.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the core premise we are dealing with here is that couples, and really people in general who are throwing any major milestone event, are suddenly completely dissatisfied with just like a beautiful sequence of moments set to a trendy pop song.
Yeah, they really are.
They do not just want a visual checklist that says, here's the cake, here's the kiss, here's the dance. They want the narrative, the context, the messy, beautiful reality of the event. But wait, pause there for a second.
Sure.
That sounds great in theory, but isn't the highlight reel just, I don't know, easier? I mean, we live in an era of 3-second attention spans.
Right.
Why are we suddenly rejecting convenience?
What's fascinating here is that this rejection of convenience actually points to a much deeper, hardwired psychological need.
Okay, go on.
Yes, a highlight reel is easier, it is incredibly convenient, but we are fundamentally narrative creatures. Human beings do not understand their lives through bulleted lists of events or chronological checklists.
We understand our reality through stories.
Exactly. So when people push back against that mere visual documentation, what they're actually craving is emotional depth. A standard highlight reel might show two people smiling at each other during a toast. But a cinematic story tells you why they are smiling by weaving in the history they share, the struggles they've overcome, and the specific family dynamics at play in the room.
I see. Let's look at the actual anatomy of this, because the material draws a very hard line between a basic highlight video and an immersive cinematic storytelling film.
It does. It really splits them into two distinct categories.
And to be fair, basic highlights absolutely still have their place, right?
Yeah.
If your primary goal is just to quickly show your extended network or your coworkers what your venue looked like and what you wore, a basic highlight does the job perfectly.
Oh, 100%.
They have a short viewing time, they're built specifically for quick social media sharing, and practically speaking, they have a much lower production complexity.
Which usually translates to a lower cost and a faster turnaround time. They are essentially built for the algorithm.
Built for the scroll.
Right. But that is exactly where their limitations begin. Because they are so brief and because they are entirely visually driven, they inherently lack emotional resonance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Structurally speaking, a highlight reel of one event looks almost identical to a highlight reel of another event. The editor is just dropping clips onto the beat of a pop song.
You could just swap out the faces and the flowers, and it is the exact same video.
Exactly. There is zero personalized narrative.
Which brings us to the alternative. Immersive cinematic storytelling focuses on completely different metrics.
Completely different.
The focus areas totally shift to personal love stories, unscripted emotional moments, family interactions, and meaningful dialogue. The way I'm conceptualizing this is that a traditional highlight reel is basically a movie trailer for a film you've never actually seen.
Oh, wow. I love that framing. That captures the dynamic perfectly.
Like, think about it. A movie trailer is designed to be flashy. It shows you the dramatic explosions, the big kiss in the rain, the sweeping landscapes, all set to this driving, epic beat.
But you have no idea what's actually happening.
Exactly. You do not actually know who the characters are. You do not understand the stakes of the kiss. You just know it looks cool.
Yeah, you're just watching pretty pictures.
Right. Immersive storytelling isn't the trailer. It is the actual movie. It has a plot.
Yeah.
But this brings up something I'm really curious about from the sources.
What's that?
Are people just demanding more because of the social media era? Like, are we just trying to outproduce each other on Instagram? Or is this a genuine fundamental shift in how we want to remember our own history?
It is genuinely the latter. The core goal of cinematic storytelling is to achieve timeless appeal.
Timeless appeal, okay.
Yeah, that is the exact opposite of the social media era's obsession with fleeting trends. Trendy highlight reels are optimized for the scroll. They are designed for quick, disposable consumption.
Right, you watch it once and forget it.
Exactly. But cinematic films are engineered to maintain their emotional impact for decades. And they achieve that longevity by focusing on things you absolutely cannot manufacture for a trend.
Like what?
Like authentic laughter, genuine tears, real nervous anticipation. Think about capturing a grandfather's unscripted reaction to seeing his granddaughter in her dress. Or the quiet, slightly terrifying conversation a couple has right before they walk down the aisle. You are capturing something that will be just as emotionally resonant 50 years from now as it is today.
So the goal is longevity over virality. We are finally using modern technology to capture the things that actually matter.
Precisely.
Let's dig into that technology and the artistic frameworks, because understanding the philosophical difference is one thing, but how do these filmmakers actually construct this emotional experience?
It takes a lot of intentional structuring.
Right, because how do you take a chaotic, unstructured 12-hour event and forge it into a movie? The notes outline that these creators are literally borrowing the framework of feature films, specifically using nonlinear narratives. Why does a nonlinear approach work so much better than just showing the day from morning to night?
Because human memory isn't chronological, it is emotional.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when you remember a significant day, you don't replay it sequentially. You might be remembering the moment you cut the cake, and that suddenly triggers a memory of a joke someone told while you were getting ready that morning.
Right, your brain jumps around.
A nonlinear edit mirrors how we actually experience consciousness. The narrative structure follows an emotional arc rather than a timeline.
So how do they build that arc?
There is a beginning, designed to introduce the subjects and set the emotional stakes. Then the middle builds anticipation, intercutting the big moments with quiet reflections. And finally, an ending that is deliberately crafted to leave the viewer with a lasting emotional resonance.
And because no two couples have the same emotional history, no two films can be identical if they are truly following this structure. We are seeing incredible personalization elements being woven into these films.
The level of detail is staggering.
Videographers are doing sit-down love story interviews with a couple weeks before the event. They are heavily researching deep family traditions, and they are using highly personalized music selections, specifically scoring the film to match the couple's vibe, rather than just pulling whatever royalty-free pop track is currently trending on TikTok.
It is a highly bespoke process. The filmmaker is essentially acting as an investigative journalist, a cinematographer, and a director simultaneously.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. They have to find the emotional core of the story amidst the absolute chaos of a massive celebration.
And if you are listening to this and wondering why on earth someone needs a Hollywood-level production crew for a personal event, you have to look at the tools they're using to achieve this.
The gear lists are insane.
The equipment lists read like a feature film production sheet. We are talking about drone cinematography, but not just to get a cool flying shot. They use drones to establish the geographical context and the scale of the day, isolating the venue and its environment.
Yeah, establishing shots, just like in a real movie.
Right. They're using high-end professional cinema cameras. But the really fascinating part is how they handle the footage afterward. They don't just use the video as it comes out of the camera. They use advanced color grading.
Color grading is one of the most powerful yet invisible tools in a filmmaker's arsenal. It is not just about making sure the sky looks blue or the grass looks green.
No.
No. Color grading manipulates human psychology. By pushing the shadows into a warm, nostalgic amber or cooling the highlights to a crisp, modern blue, the editor is subconsciously telling your brain how it should feel about the memory it is watching. They are coloring the mood.
That makes total sense. And actually, there is this fantastic little Easter egg in the supplementary production notes we reviewed.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, the text specifically references a video titled 10 Minutes of Portrait Photography POV 4K by a channel called In Your Phase. At first, I didn't get why a wedding videography document was referencing a portrait photography tutorial.
It seems out of place at first glance.
Right. But when you think about it, that inclusion is incredibly telling about where the industry's visual standards are right now.
Exactly. It illustrates that these modern videographers aren't just looking at other wedding videos for inspiration. They are studying high-end 4K portrait photography.
Yeah.
They are analyzing how light wraps around a human face in ultra-high definition. They are learning how to perfectly frame a subject's eye to draw focus to a single tear in a fraction of a second.
And then they are doing the incredibly difficult work of translating those static, highly controlled portrait skills into moving, unpredictable cinematic video. It is an astonishingly high bar for visual quality.
It truly is. But as visually stunning as all of this 4K footage and psychological color grading is, the documents actually emphasize another element just as heavily.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
And it is a mechanism that people almost always overlook until it is missing or poorly executed.
I have an analogy for this. Sound design. In a really good film, sound design is like the bass line in a song.
Okay, I like that.